Let's talk about the new Fresh Prince, y'all. So this is Bel-Air, starting Jabari Banks. I believe that's how you pronounce his first name. But he's the starring as Will Smith in Bel-Air, the dramatic interpretation of the sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So we're going to be talking about it. I'm going to let you know what I think about it. And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to let you know what to expect if you want to go start watching it. But if you have any thoughts, please leave it in the comments. I'm not alone here. We're discussing this show together. So if you're watching this, let me know what you think about the show. Like, do you prefer the original, or are you feeling this new dramatic version of it? If this is your first time hearing of the Bel-Air series, it started as a fan-made trailer here on YouTube. I believe it was like 2019-ish. But the fan-made trailer picked up, and now we got this show.
My life ain't a sitcom, my Viv. I don't even feel like I belong here.
Just give it some time. Everything happens for a reason.
But it did seem like it was very well made, and a lot of thought went into it. And this series is the same way. It seemed like a lot of thought went into this series, because in this series we're going to explore more like an in-depth look into the characters. Each episode seemed like it had a focus on one certain thing, on one certain person. Episode 1, like the episode behind me, we see Will Smith in Philly. And quick fun fact, Jabari Banks and Will Smith have a lot in common. So this is his first role in TV or film, just like in the 90s when Will Smith, the real Will Smith, his first role was in The Fresh Prince. And also they both are involved in music. So we may hear some more music from Jabari later on. But getting back on point, so they're both from Philly as well. That's another key point. So we see the new Will Smith in Philly. He has this best friend that I'm not sure if I didn't see enough episodes of The Fresh Prince, but I feel like the best friend character from Philly wasn't in the show. I think he was, but I'm not completely sure on that because I wasn't like a diehard Fresh Prince fan. I love the show, but I wasn't going to go and watch every single episode. But I'm pretty sure y'all get me. We didn't have Peacock back in our day. That's my fault on that. I did some research after recording this, and I found out that Trey was in the show.
Ice Trey, we didn't hear you come in. Geoffrey, did you leave the door open?
So Don Cheadle played Trey, aka Ice Trey. But keep in mind, like, people like me, like the younger generations, we don't know much about the show because we were just babies around this time. So I like how we can go back and like compare both shows. Like, for example, Jazz and Hilary. We see Jazz and Hilary hook up in Bel-Air as well. But just to let y'all know, I wanted to correct myself. Trey was in the original. When it comes to the characters, like you see Jazz behind me, that's another thing that kind of threw me off. Jazz is the taxi driver. I know for sure Jazz wasn't a taxi driver in the original. But when it comes down to the characters, I'll say Will, Hilary, Jazz, and Vil. These 4 characters, they're going to feel more like the originals. But everybody else, Carlton and Ashley, we don't see much of Ashley. Uncle Phil, those 3, they seem like whole different people, but in a good way. They're more detailed. I guess Uncle Phil, Ashley, Carlton, and I forgot Geoffrey. I feel like these 4 characters were like the most left out characters in the original. They just made them more interesting than like the original characters. But like I said, everybody else, especially Unveiled, for some reason, Unveiled in this Peacock series, she remind me of like the dark-skinned Unveiled from the original. I don't know if she took like parts of like the dark-skinned Unveiled and put it in this show, but watching her scenes, I feel like I'm watching dark-skinned Unveiled, like from the original.
Are you all right? I mean, after everything that happened.
Yeah, it's all good on Viv. You know, got in one little fight. My mom got scared.
I'm just so happy you're okay.
Episode 1 painted a perfect picture of how Will actually loves the city of Philly. And they actually, like in the first 10 minutes of the episode, they give you like a little taste of Philly. So we see Philly rapper Freeway, he's like the coach. They gave him like a small role. They quote Meek Mill, another Philly rapper, and they play a song right after that. Episode 1 starts off real upbeat, so we see happy moments with his best friend, with his mom, and then it takes a turn for the worse real fast, as you see. So in the original, where he said, like, you know, when a couple of guys, they was up to no good, started making trouble in the neighborhood. This is like the detailed version of that, the detailed dramatic version of that. And this is what we're going to get throughout the series. So episode 2, episode 3, they touch more on this. So episode 2 touches more on Will getting more familiar with Bel-Air. So it's a lot of adjusting he has to do. It's a new type of culture he's around. It's everything around him is like unfamiliar to him. So episode 2, we see him getting adjusted to Bel-Air, and then episode 3, it creeps to his tension between him and Carlton, and that's my favorite thing about this show. Like in the original, we saw Will and Carlton, they didn't really get along, and then they slowly started getting along as time went by. But the show, the original, didn't really express like what was their issue with each other. Of course, they're from different, you know, parts of the world. They're so different in so many ways. They might as well be from two different worlds. But we see exactly why. We see like Carlton dealing with jealousy, dealing with a lot. I want to give too much away because like if you watch it, you'll get it. With all the detail they're adding to the show, it has this more rawness to it. Sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes it fits well, other times it seems like it's forced. Like, they got strong language in the show, that's to be expected, and they got like drug usage. So the strong language, I get that because it's not like the adults talking all crazy. It's mostly Will and his peers, you know, talking, they dropping the F-bombs and stuff like that. Because I'm pretty sure that's more realistic with like kids these days. I hate it, but I mean, that's the reality. The thing that didn't seem realistic was like the drug usage. It seemed like they're trying to make it seem more than what it is. Like, you'll see what I'm talking about if you haven't saw it yet. But hopefully they'll explain it in the future episodes. Maybe it is more than what it is. But if it's not, I feel like that was like that part right there is kind of a stretch. Like they're trying to like make it too gritty and dark by doing that. But everything else about the show, I like it. I'm gonna finish the series and then we can talk about the finale, the season finale. Hopefully they'll get a season 2, and because I know it's a lot they could touch on, especially with Will's father. Like one of the main key points of the original show, that'll be something sick to touch on. But like I said, y'all, leave me y'all thoughts down below in the comment section. Join the discussion with me. We're going to talk about it until we finish the series. But that's all I got.